laid my head down every night with grateful prayers beneath the light. But even with a thankful heart, your whisper said, now do your part. The silence spoke louder than my fears. You gathered every hidden tear. You showed me love was never meant to stay inside these walls content. You said don't wait for perfect days. I've called your hands for greater ways. Go where the broken hearts belong, and I'll become your strength and song. Lord, I'll follow wherever you lead, planting hope like a tiny seed, building homes where dreams can grow, shining light where darkness knows. When the world forgets the least, we'll become your hands of peace. One heart, one soul, one family. Together we'll build humanity.
Welcome back to Talk Black and Give Back, family. Pull up your chair and stay with me for a moment. We're just going to talk for about 20 minutes, and I'm just so glad you tuned in. If you've rocked with me in the past, then you know what we're about. We don't sugarcoat the world that we live in. We bring passion, drive, and try to bring real action to the table every month. This podcast is our way of giving back while we bring our special acknowledgement focused on issues that directly impact the Black community. The core of our mission is all about lifting the bottom population so that everyone rises together. Now that means Black communities, brown communities, indigenous, Asian, white communities, all of us. If you have the ability, the resources, or the strength to help someone who is struggling, you have a responsibility to reach down deep and pull them up. That's how we heal what's broken. We aren't here to tear down the progress we've made or be divisive. We're here to make sure that we don't go backwards, so that we learn from the past and we keep propelling this nation forward only through love, unity, and real community work. Now, sitting here at the end of July, there's a date that I've been pondering with. It keeps coming up, and it's mixed emotions, complicated emotions, and I'm sure it is across of most of Black America. This month being the 4th of July, since all the barbecues and the fireworks are over, I've just kind of been reflecting on the month, sitting here asking myself the same questions that so many of us for generations have asked. And that's simply, what does the promise actually mean for us? The promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And how do we celebrate liberty in a nation where our ancestors had to fight so hard just to be recognized as human beings? This kind of led me on a journey, and I was thinking about Frederick Douglass's speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July. And notice the date that he chose to present the speech. Douglass was invited to speak on the 4th he was invited to speak on the 4th of July, but he refused to do it then. He actually waited to the 5th of July to make the statement, to draw kind of a line between the national celebration of freedom and the reality that so many people, millions of Black men, women, and children were all still living in chattel slavery at that very moment. So he pointed directly to the massive gap between America's idols of liberty and the painful reality that Black people actually lived. There's two different things. So it's a contradiction there in celebrating the 4th of July if you're part of Black America. Now, I want to pause right here just to break down something specific that Frederick Douglass said in that speech, because it connects directly with how we live today. When Douglass talked about the Declaration of Independence, he called it a ring bolt to the chain of our nation's density. Did I say destiny? It's a ring bolt to the chain of our nation's destiny. Picture a heavy metal ring bolt deep into a solid rock that's embedded into a solid rock. When ships kind of come into the harbor during heavy storms, they use that ring bolt to tie their thickest ropes to, so that the strong winds don't ship their or sweep their ships back into the sea. That ring bolt is the functional anchor that holds everything steady. Douglass was trying to say that the promise that all people are created, endowed with natural rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that promise is the anchor for America. He was telling the nation, your foundation is strong, your anchor is solid, but you are leaving millions of us out in a storm while you sit safely at home at shore. So, and this is where we kind of have to connect the dots in our own lives and our own moral integrity today. Think about how a standard works. If someone doesn't claim to follow a particular standard or belief system, they acknowledge basically simply that they're reflecting their choice to do something. But for those of us who stand up and say, hey, I'm a believer, I follow the Word of God, and the Bible's my guide of how to live, then that book, the Bible, becomes the very anchor that you claim to tie your ship to, right? So you want to hold on to that anchor if you're a believer. If you're not a believer, then it's still your word that you're holding on to say that, hey, I can stand on this. It's a solid thing, and it won't leave you astray. So then your word has to be something of value if you're not a believer. So just fast forwarding kind of a bit. I'm trying to stick to my topics. I only have bullet points here, so I typically talk around. But if you're thinking about that standard, the Bible speaks constantly about having a compassionate heart, loving your neighbor, loving yourself, defending the vulnerable, and reaching out to the person who has fallen. So if someone claims that book, the Bible, is their guide, but don't walk with that compassionate heart towards their neighbors, if they walk past the person in need or support things that push the vulnerable people down, then there's a disconnect between the God that they claim and the life they live. We aren't here, I'm not trying to be here to judge anybody or criticize anybody's heart. I simply want to invite everyone to hold themselves accountable to the standards that they claim to cherish. If your foundation is built on love, compassion, truth, then your actions should reflect that same love to every neighbor, regardless of who they are. So, family, when we look at current leaders and policies today that try to roll back civil rights and strip protections from the most vulnerable people in the world, or divide us into opposing sides, it's just been feeling like we're not moving forward at all. It's easy to get angry at all of this. It's easy to feel defeated. Our organization and this podcast, we're built on something stronger than anger, and that's called hope. When Frederick Douglass got towards the end of his speech after calling out the hypocrisy and the pain of 1852. He didn't leave his listeners in the dark. He looked out at the crowd and said, "I do not despair this country. There are forces in operation which must inevitably work the downfall of slavery. I therefore leave off where I began, with hope." Think about the strength it took to say those words, "I leave off where I began with hope," in 1852. Slavery was legal. The country was divided more deep than we are now. And yet Douglass chose hope. Not a passive hope that sits around waiting for things to get better, but an active, driving hope that fueled him to pick up his neighbors and fix what was broken. When one nation under God and true liberty means that when one of us falls, the rest of us reach down to pick them up, if you have the financial capacity, the educational resources, the time, or the strength, you use it to lift the person next to you who doesn't have those same advantages right now. It isn't just a black issue or a brown issue. It's a human issue. So as I wrap up our time together today, I always leave calls for action. So how can we take Douglass's message of hope and turn it into real, tangible progress for our neighborhoods today? So I have a couple things that I've just kind of laid out here. We live out our principles with active compassion. Whatever your God is, whether you live by the Bible, a moral code, or a commitment to humanity, let your actions match your claims. Look around your blocks, your workplaces, your schools. Find the family or the individual who is struggling and step into the gap with a compassionate heart. We push up the bottom population when we choose to care for one another. So that's what I want us to focus on in the month going forward. Also, anchor yourself in truth and history. Don't let anyone rewrite history and make you feel hopeless about the future. Teach your children about leaders like Frederick Douglass. Explain to them what the ring bolt of liberty means so that they understand that rights aren't gifts from politicians. They're promises anchored in a shared humanity or, just the human dignity. Okay? So, and then I want you to hold leaders accountable to the standard of unity. We must use our voices, our communities and organizations, and our votes to support leaders who want to pull us up together, not tear us apart. Reject the political noise that's around us right now, telling us, hate our neighbors, hate the other side. Oh, it's their problem, not my problem. They're not accountable for their words nor their actions. Demand policies that protect civil rights, fund our schools, strengthen local communities, businesses, and lift up those living at the margins. And then lastly, I would like to keep hope as your fuel. Whatever you do, don't despair of this country, as Frederick Douglass said. Progress takes continuous effort. But when we lead with love and we operate with hope, and then we hold fast to that ring bolt of true equality, there is no backward step that can stop us from moving forward together. Family, the blindfolds are off of all of us. Our hearts are open and our hands are ready to do the work. Let's reach out. Let's lift up as we climb up. Let's lift as we climb up and build the community we all deserve to see. We need to keep our eyes open and keep our communities tight, keep spreading love, and let's get to work. If you have any questions about our organization or you would like to take part, you all know how to reach out and tell a friend. I also call to action. Tell a friend about the organization this month. Reach out, find out how you can help. It takes a village. We have to build communities. If that's only 100 people right now, next month it should be 500. I'm just saying that's how we build up. We keep lifting each other up from the bottom, and we will all be in good places very soon. Thank you for tuning in to Talk Black and Give Back. As always, I want you to take good care of yourselves and take good care of others. I'll see you next time.
No child should wonder where they'll sleep. No mother's tears should run this deep. No weary mind should fight alone when love can make a house a home. We'll teach the young to dream again, to lift each other hand in hand. For every life that's lifted high, another soul begins to fly. With love, give with grace, every heart deserves a place. With the fall, break the chains. Healing comes, love and faith will build communities of hope, giving every soul a rope, not just surviving, rising free. That's the world you're calling me to see. Lord, wherever you lead, life is more than what we believe. Protect the weak, restore the lost. Love is worth whatever the cost. We'll build tomorrow side by side, leaving fear and hate behind. With every life we help restore, heaven opens one more door. If one heart changes, a family grows. If one family rises, a community knows. If one community stands, a nation can heal. So Lord, we'll move, and you'll guide the way. Faith without action is only a whisper, but love in motion can change the world.